Well, high school seniors typically opt for 4 years of high school, of course, before moving on to do other things, often post-secondary education. But since the pandemic, more students are considering a victory lap. This in an effort to recover from disrupted learning. So in this installment of Learning Lessons, we look at why more students are choosing this route instead of graduation. For more on this, Michelle Vesprini, a guidance counselor at St. Thomas More Catholic Secondary, joins us now. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, Anthony.
So what are students saying to you?
So this year I am the acting grade 9 guidance counselor, but I was the grade 12 counselor last year when the pandemic hit and we experienced our first lockdown. Our group of guidance counselors within our school work very closely together, and whenever we can work with different grade levels, we do. The grade 12s, of course, they are struggling, and many, although we do want to say many are moving on to their respective colleges and universities, but there is great trepidation for a lot of the other students, coupled with the selection process this year, which was quite different because each school board rolled out a different model of providing the curriculum. So whereas within our school board, we were considered octomestered, meaning that we delivered one course at a time, 23 days straight. Other schools were providing different modalities. So then there were quadmestered. And with that came the competition to acquire the marks in the required courses to get into your programs.
Yeah.
If these weren't met, then universities were making offers to other students who were able to earn the credits in the required courses.
So it leads to the question of a victory lap. You know, it has, in some circles, still some stigma. But given what this year has been for so many students, would this be beneficial for them?
Of course, and it would be beneficial for those students who did not get into the programs that they worked very hard to get into. Of all years, this would definitely be a forgiving year with respect to, there are people, as you have alluded to, that have their own opinions of that victory lap, but we do need to, and we often do, remind parents, we remind other adults that these youth are leaving high school primarily at the age of 17 nowadays. So to come back and work on your maturity, work on achieving the grades that you may need, it's not a terrible thing. And we don't. I hope that we don't pass that kind of message on to our students. This year has been like no other year for everyone globally, let alone our youth. And we have to be very careful not to treat our youth as though they have the mindset, the development, the cognitive development as our adults. And we have to welcome them back into our school settings, letting them know that, yeah, it's okay to redo all of this if that's what you want to do. And that's often our
Sorry
message.
to jump in. We have less than a minute, but I want to, obviously, the main goal is to prepare these students for whatever comes next, if it's post-secondary education. But what about the effect next year? If so many other students do it, in terms of makes it, you know, obviously more difficult to get into post-secondary because now you have 2 classes.
Yeah, and we've experienced this double cohort is what we call this experience. And we don't have the numbers yet with respect to who does plan to return. We usually look at anywhere between 25-30% of a return in normal years. So with that, yeah, there may be more competition, and we have to put that into the hands of our universities and our colleges to identify these difficulties and these challenges and see what they come up with. You know, we can only control what we can control.
Well, certainly a lot to think about. We appreciate your insight. Michelle Vesprini, a guidance counselor. Thank you so much.